Hey, Marielle. I haven't talked to you in forever. Where the hell have you been, Loca? Hello. Felix. I'm sure he just popped in for some random reason to do that, but hi, Felix. I feel like anymore, it's like Felix just emerges occasionally. Hey, Bree. Hello. This is the perfect time to use that line. Perfect time. Welcome. It's creepy book club time. Woo! All right. We'll give it a couple minutes for anybody else that's popping in, but damn. Marielle, can I tell you, like, I drank so much water during that movie night. Like, I don't know if it was the movie giving me a headache or if it was my headphones, which I'm not wearing because luckily I don't need them right now. I don't know if they were like squeezing my head or it was the movie, but I had such a headache during movie night. I took something and I've been nursing a water the whole time. I had to pee so bad, like right before the stream, though. I drank so much water during that movie night because I thought for some reason I was dehydrated, which is not the case. I've been drinking water all day, so I don't think that was it. I had seen it before. I just hadn't seen it in a while, but man, did I block out like most of that movie. I don't think I was really paying attention the last time I watched it. Like, I think like my brother was over and like him and my sister-in-law had watched it. And so they just like put it on and it was kind of just like in the background. So wasn't really watching it anyway. I just remember all the green. It's, Des! Hey. Who of the normal gang are we just missing now, Tana? Almost got the core 4 here in the chat. That green movie, yeah. I do remember the green. It's like the worst shade of green. I don't know if that's what was giving me the headache or not, but I still kind of have it. Core 4. It's time to explain what you put us through. Yeah. I have for anybody that if you guys like had the physical copy, there were just like a reading group guide in the back. So a lot of the banners I took from there. I actually don't think did I rate this? I did rate it. I did. I forgot. I kind of got my letterboxed under control when it comes to logging things as I finish it. Storygraph is next. So okay. I'm excited to disagree with all of Mattio's. I don't know if I saw your rating though. Well, I'll just let the discussion happen. It's fine. I was just like clarifying like all the like little discussion banners I have for this, which I have a lot. I actually have a lot. I took a lot from the back of the book, just citing my sources. So where do we want to start? Where do we want to start? Anybody have anything in particular they really want to talk about? There's so much going on in this book. So this is welcome to the Does This Offend You experience where we're like, where do we start? I don't know where we start. Yeah, I don't know where we want to start with this book. I guess while you guys type, if anybody's like lurking, or just like listening in and you haven't read Monstrilio, this is about, well, the back made it seem like it was just from the mother's point of view. I feel like that was a little bit misleading. It's basically like a couple that loses their son, and the mother takes a piece of her dead son's lung and it grows into Monstrilio. Uh, it grows into a monster of sorts, and it's this family dealing with that. That's essentially what's going on. I need Daisy for this discussion. It's emotional support. Give her a couple minutes. She was napping out on the couch out there, but if I'm in here talking to somebody else long enough, she will come in here. So just give her a little bit of time. She might be sleeping. Should we go by character like in the book? Do lungs make good offspring? Then you got Bonnie. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, we can go by the character. Well, I guess since you said that, I guess before maybe we go through each character, what did you guys think of the structure of the book? It's like 4 parts essentially. First is from the point of view of Magos? Is that how you'd say her name? I did not listen to this one at all. I ended up not using the audiobook at all, so I just read it. Who is the mother? Then Lena, who is Magos and Joseph's friend, and then Joseph, who's the dad, and then finally that's just titled M, but it's Monstrilio. So it still kind of goes in chronological order. So it's not like necessarily jumping like back in time or anything like that. Like it's still kind of just moving forward, but just at certain junctures of the story, it's just like, okay, and it's going to be from this person's point of view now. I love the structure. I mentioned I love how the story was linear but flowed through different characters. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I mean, the more time we spent with Magos, the less time I wanted to spend in her POV. So I was actually I was grateful when it switched POVs. I still think I can't wait to talk about her character. She was the most annoying character to me. So I was grateful for that. I was grateful for that. I think it was well done in the sense though too. You kind of get how they were feeling throughout all parts of the story. So it didn't matter necessarily that it was going linear. Like I didn't feel like I was missing anything. Like, man, I really wish I'd seen how like Joseph reacted during this part, or you know what I mean? Yeah, I say support women's rights. It doesn't include Magos. Yeah, she was something else. Don't mind the multiple POV. It can get tedious if you're not vibing with the characters. That's true. That's interesting though, because I kind of take an opposite approach where I'm like, well, if I'm not vibing with the characters, at least I don't have to spend so much time in their heads. But you're right. You're right. It could absolutely go the other way too. Kept thinking this is definitely not written by a woman. Okay. Okay. You guys want to expand on that? Feel like a teacher. How so? And then while we do that, we can go through each character for sure. We'll go in order. Des agrees with me, so you're right. It's not about being right or wrong. I'm just trying to facilitate a discussion. Not about right or wrong. No? Oh, do you agree with the choices she made? I see. You just skipping over my other question. I get it. Fine. All right. Y'all know I'm always the first to denigrate a male author, but I think this one created an unlikable female character very well. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, that's why I just wanted to know, yeah. Magos was perfect and made all the right choices. Is that sarcasm or is it? I wanted to know about this thought. I'm curious. Can you please explain or provide examples? Because I like normally I'm with you on this one. Normally I'm with you on this one, but I didn't I guess personally I didn't have any like moments where I was like, yeah, this isn't written by a woman necessarily. Yes, sarcasm. Okay, thank you. Another desk laugh from across the globe. Didn't like how the man was the one who showed he cared. And the woman was cold and jumped to the opportunity of replacing her own son. Okay. Okay. But hmm. Hmm. I can see that. I can see that like later in the story. Especially the way she keeps calling Santiago. Um but I feel like at least the way I interpreted it, the beginning was it was like it was a reaction out of grief to do that. So I don't know. I guess I just thought of it as like she was like not in her right mind when she was doing that. And also in the beginning, uh she's the only one who cares about Monstrilio at the beginning. It takes everybody else a second to jump on board. So I think they actually kind of like pass each other a little bit. Like like I think it starts off that well, it's also from different point of views too. So Magos definitely views Joseph, I think, as more cold in the beginning, but I feel like they like kind of pass each other in the narrative where and then by the end, Magos definitely is more cold. Did like that because it's not stereotypical. It's like us men suffer too, women bad. I didn't get that at all. Interesting. And I feel like that's normally my go-to reaction. Like I don't know if agree is the right word. Magos was a grieving parent serving her own ends. Yes. I pulled that question from the reading guide. Like I guess they chose to ask uh, you know, if you agreed with her choices. Hey Cora. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We jumped right in. You didn't miss much. We just talked about what we felt about the structure of the book and now we're just talking about Magos. That's all you missed so far. But I 1000% agree with this. Like I can say like I didn't agree with it. Like I feel comfortable in saying I didn't agree with that, but also yeah, she is a grieving parent just serving her own ends. I think what she did in the beginning is extremely selfish. Like I think it was extremely selfish. I'm trying to. It's fast to abandon me. Two things can be true at the same. It's just interpretations. It's just interpretations. Felix did not read the book, but I wanted to show support, love, and say hi and bye. Thank you, Felix. Love you. I love that this is just our relationship now, Felix. You just pop in and pop out. Anyways, not just Magos. Like I said, everyone sucks in this book, and of course, not necessary to have likable characters. But damn, yeah, I agree. I don't think, yeah, in sometimes it's hard in the story graph, you know, have like when you do the review, it has the moment like, did you find the characters lovable? And normally I'm either like yes or it's complicated, and those are usually like my two answers always. This one was like a very easy no. Very easy no. I usually don't go to that conclusion so quickly, but I was like, yeah, that on that front, it's a no from me. Oh, sorry, I just clicked on that one. Not agree with Maga's choices, but I did appreciate a woman doing whatever she wants for herself. Fuck the consequences. Yeah, it's a huge gray area because yeah, that's a tricky web. Tricky web that you're weaving there. Um just because it's like, yes, I also agree she's, doing whatever she wants. Fuck the consequences. Her consequences, like the consequences do hurt other people. Like physically though too, like when the dog gets bit by Monstrilio, and yeah, it's like there is some kind of like collateral damage in the consequences to her actions, and then he runs around and eats all those like house pets, when they find him in the park. So lost reading our banter. I'm like, it's just when I start talking and then you guys keep going, I'm just trying to catch up. It is very rare to see a woman in fiction be selfish without guilt. I agree with that too. The story Magos tells about throwing things out the window to watch them break tells you all you need to know about her. Facts. Facts. The thing, Joseph at least shows guilt, but she's just plain evil. Lena, you think Lena was evil also? Interesting. Okay, let's talk about Lena. Let's talk about Lena. Since she's next. She's next in the order of the POVs. It goes to her point of view next. Every thought you have, Mariel, I'm just gonna be like, expand. You can't just say something like that and then not explain. You said she was evil. She's just plain evil. Lena too. Evil? I can agree with selfish, but I don't think selfish. Yeah, I don't think selfish makes her evil. I think there's levels to it. Like if we had to pick if we had to pick, I would say like Magos's selfishness made her a little evil. A little bit. A little bit there. I think evil's well, I guess that's just me though. Personally, I feel like evil's a strong word. Yeah, that I agree on. She wanted Magos for herself, but yeah, I didn't think she was evil. Yeah, I definitely think she was blinded by love. I mean, they're characterized as evil. That's because they show no guilt. While Joseph does wrong, but he recognizes it. Interesting. Putting a book back in the wrong spot is evil. Desire is not. Honestly, as a bookseller, yes, putting a book back in the wrong spot is evil. I would I say evil is a strong word. I would characterize that as evil. I think maybe we're operating on different definitions of evil though. To me, that's a really strong word. I'm like, that's like no redeeming qualities. Which for Lena, I don't know that that's necessarily true. Saw them all as being characterized by their expressions of grief. Some just more questionable than others, for sure. But I guess to this question though, like, because Lena's the only POV in this book that isn't like part of the family, like blood relation wise. Because the other three are all technically related, you know, mother, father, and then child. But Lena is kind of like an outside perspective almost, even though this is like a close-knit group of people. But I guess, did anyone think like her perspective wasn't important as like a kind of outsider, or would this outsider perspective have been better from somebody else? Because I thought it was interesting how, for one, like how quickly she's okay with Monstrilio. Like I felt like that happened super fast. And then it was kind of like blinked and then everyone was kind of just like, okay. Where I was like, oh, okay. Like we turned on that really quick. Sorry for me, it read as the queer predator. I can see that. I can see that stereotype. I can see the stereotype. She does have quite a lot of thoughts of, you know, just wanting to be with Magos. I kind of just felt bad for her. I was kind of like, girl, do better. Do better. Let's not wait around for Magos. Let's not wait around for Magos. I also feel like that, again, that's just what to me makes, like, if we had to classify one of these characters as evil, I'm picking Magos, because Magos knows that Lena is in love with her. And I feel like there's certain parts in the book where she kind of feeds that a little bit. And they even mention it's in Joseph's chapter. They mention like that they tried or something. Like I feel like Magos is, at least the vibe I was picking up in the book is that she kind of tugs Lena along a little bit also. Not that forgives either side. I think the main thing in this book is like all of these people seemed like so human in that like they aren't perfect at all. How can we forget the evil bisexual man? Joseph? That one was crazy. I do have to say, like, the casual queerness of all of the characters was kind of nice. It was kind of nice. Like Magos's mom, that could have easily, especially since she's an older character, that could have just, I feel like, as easily been like a bigoted thing. Like she could have been like old fashioned or something. I think that's like the easy choice. And for Joseph though, like, all of his other character traits aside, like when else do we ever see like bisexual men in books? I was like, wow, wow. I don't know. Lena was really an outsider. She was embroiled with that family to give. I just meant like outsider, like not like blood related. In a sense, Tana. Tana. Welcome. We're having a spirited discussion. Do you think that she's too close to Joseph and Magos to give like a third party? True. Oh, I totally agree. Also, I think Magos. I think she liked it. I agree. Truly believe Magos was actually a super powerful witch that had absolutely no idea and misused her power. What? Okay, I don't know about that. I think this is just like a magical realism kind of tale, but okay. Yeah, I think I most like Net felt bad for Lena. What's some of what Bree's having? That is true. Yeah, and she did seem to know things or just like have a I don't know if that was supposed to be maybe like a nod or like a comment on like a mother's instinct for anything, I guess, like how she knows like if they cut off the tail arm thing that Monstrilio will start to be more human and he'll like it'll lose his wild side, and she's just like very confident in this, and she is right to an extent. She's not completely right, but not saying it's oh yeah, that's fine. I just like that. I was like, wow, I didn't think of that at all. Thing with Lena and Robert is blaming Magos for being under her spell. Like Lena didn't make her own choices. That's true. That is true. I think I think all of these people are extremely messy. Extremely messy. No, who's attacking you? No one's attacking. You're doing the bit. Stop doing the bit. I felt bad from too. The reading guide actually introduced me to a term I'd never heard before, which I think when it comes to like Monstrilio and like the arm tail thing and stuff like that, fits this. So this one's kind of a longer banner, but I was trying to include kind of like a definition of what this is. So the reading guide at the back of the book mentions this. Crip theory, which combines disability studies and queer theory, and is centrally concerned with how bodies, pleasures, and identities are represented as normal or as abject. And I mean, definitely, as a able-bodied person, I didn't have that like inherent perspective when I was reading this, and I was like, oh fuck, well they do like technically mutilate M or Monstrilio to look more normal, so he can fit in, he can instead of just like I feel like for a story that like it feels like almost it's like the point of the story is that it's trying to be a story about loving like your family members or loving whoever for who they are, And kind of to an extent, this family does that, but they also don't. Like, they start off not doing that. They start off cutting off Monstrilio's arm tail. even though they technically were saying like they loved him as he was prior, but it's like he's not normal enough for them, so he has to like, they mutilate him, and it's really like barbaric. Had a whole comment about how excuse me, how it's also a story about forced expectations, and I think this theory is where that fits. I'll copy paste. Okay, please do. I really should pull it up and utilize that more and copy paste in here for you guys. But I thought that was interesting, and I was like, oh fuck, like I didn't even think of that that perspective. And then it comes into play later on too, when we're finally in like Monstrilio's point of view, and there's a lot more about like the pleasures side of that, as well, as he's like not like trying to figure everything out. I mean, when we jump into like Joseph and his perspective, like some time has passed, so that there's a sense that he's already figured some things out. But grief is the obvious metaphor here, but I also see a lot of exploration of expectations, from Santiago being expected to die to the constraints on each of the characters and how they are expected to. Gonna read it out here. Act, talk, live, be, up to and including Uncle Luke and Lucia and Jackie. Everyone has expectations as to how everyone else should be, and it isn't until they are freed from those expectations that they can truly be who they are meant to be. M is just the most obvious manifestation of that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think you're right. I think you're right. For like every single character too. Like I think I kind of think that's just kind of part of how we interact with each other though too. I think there's a level of us putting expectations on each other as we interact with each other, and this is a super toxic form of that. So not the whole thing in his character arc. They wanted him to be something so bad that they literally and metaphorically cut out a part of him. And as he came into himself, it started to grow back. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like to think he fully grew the arm tail back after he left. Magos had expectations of herself, and unfortunately those were never let go of. So she's the only one in the book that doesn't get to become their true selves. But I guess we never, we don't ever really know, because we don't get to go back to her point of view or like her thought process. But I feel like, I don't know. She's a tricky one. She's a tricky one, because I feel like she starts off, and I think it is a book about expectations. Like going in, I'm expecting her to be like grieving mother type. And she's not necessarily that. It's like she is and she isn't. And so like later in the story, she kind of just starts to do, it's almost like she stops like caring about Monstrilio as much. Except to going back to what Des says, when it serves her own ends. Like, so when she decides like what she wants to be is this performance artist, and when they're in Berlin and she does her performance, it's all about her grieving Santiago, like in front of her entire family and Monstrilio. Maybe her true self is just somebody who's just this really selfish person. Like maybe maybe Cora, maybe she was her true self the entire time. Yeah. Cuz I feel like that selfishness, like her ego was there the entire time. The way she just like freaking stayed in Lena's house for so long watching some zombie show over and over and over again. Not familiar with crypt theory, but I did think that the way they were pressuring M to act normal mirrors the experience of queer kids for sure. Yeah, I think that's just the them like blending those two things, because I feel like there's a lot of parallels that you could draw with like disabilities as well, like being pressured to act normal or to look normal. What's happening? Bree's giving Bree's giving me an existential crisis. Tell her to stop. About what? We're having a discussion about a book. Just enjoy the discussion. Nobody's trying to give you an existential crisis. Nobody's trying to actively go against your point of view. We're just discussing. It'll be okay. You two are adults. You guys can work it out. All right. Weirdly, I actually don't have a banner for Joseph's point of view. Does anybody have anything else they want to add about Joseph's point of view? I can make one really quick. Joseph. Oh man. There, just to give something. Just to give him something. I didn't make one for him. She did read it. No, she read it. And she has very strong opinions on it that she was sharing, and then she started doing this existential crisis thing. Joseph became his true self when he set the spider free. When he set the spider free. I didn't think about Joseph very much. I think just because for like the first part of the book, he's so absent. Like I just didn't really think about him all that much until I was like, oh fuck. And then he gets his own chapter and then he's bisexual. And I was like, oh my God. Like oh my God, wait. Feel bad for his fiance. He's coming into a lot. He's coming into a lot with that family. That's for damn sure. And he doesn't even like, and they're all being like super secretive too. And that like to like his point of view, like viewing all that, to me, that just like reads as so many red flags. Like I probably would have gotten out of there. You know what I mean? Like I'd have been like, no, I gotta go. You guys are being weird. I don't think I can trust anybody. Yeah, poor guy. Would have been happy if it ended after Peter proposed. Oh, sorry. Like we didn't even get to stay for the wedding. Yeah, imagine how that wedding went though. Because like literally right before, it's like Monstrilio is like he's going off never to return again, to go be himself. Imagine how they were all acting in that wedding. If I were Peter, I would have been like, no, we gotta reverse this. This is weird. Because then they're just gonna be grieving all over again, aren't they? In a sense. Because it's not quite the same as like your kid like growing up and, like moving out where they'll come visit. Like it's kind of with the understanding like they're not gonna see him again. Which is wild. Yeah, it couldn't have been a good wedding. Couldn't have been a good wedding. No. That family's messy. Messy. Okay, well, we gave Joseph his moment. All right, M. Just called him M in here because that's what the book calls him. Like his point of view, his whole thing, like they're like, I mean, obviously the writing's different when it gets to his part, his POV. Because it's a little bit more like simplistic, like the sentences are all kind of about the same length, which makes sense for the character. That makes sense. But there's also like that he, like there's like this Santiago part of him, like like he kind of has a literal like interconnection to Santiago to an extent, which makes sense because he is Santiago kind of in a way, like he's born from his lung. He was created from his lung. What really blew my mind was, yes, let's have my next wedding in the same place my son died. Was it Magos or was it Peter? Was it Magos or was it like a joint thing? Like Magos suggested it and Peter was like, yeah. Interesting. You just want to bite. You just want to bite. You just want to bite. And hey, there were people that were into that. There were people that were into that. What about that kind of like fucking creepy kind of relationship? There's like that guy whose name I can't remember. I don't know, like that relationship rubbed me the wrong way. What the hell was his name? Like the guy in Berlin. I'm trying to flip through and like find it. The fuck is his name? Berlin guy, yeah. I really can't find anything that says his name. Berlin guy. Thomas! Found it. Thank you. Right as Marielle typed it. Thank you. True, he did learn to ask for consent. Kinda. Then he goes and like attacks his neighbor though. M's perspective strengthened my hatred for the other characters. He did try really hard to meet his parents' expectations. Yeah. I mean, it's just essentially he's just not living his truth, right? As much as I hate that expression. It's like that's just really it. He's just not living his truth, essentially. Consensual by which could feed into also to like the queerness of it all, to the metaphor, like trying to fit into a box that you're not. you know, consensual bite turned into eat whole person. Sometimes you try your best and you don't succeed. Yeah, he was doing good, and then it kind of got out of control. Kind of get out of control. Yeah, wild. Wild. I felt the most bad for Monstrilio, of course. Like, and then just his point of view and him trying to like figure it out. And then even then, like the way everybody reacts to this, it's almost like they come full circle. Like, so when Monstrilio is first kind of like comes into being, everybody's horrified. Well, except for Magos. And then they come around, and then they're back to him. He's, however old he is in the at the end. I don't actually really know. Um, and then they're kind of like horrified of him again when he starts like, wanting to bite. When he starts wanting to bite. But like everyone kind of falls into like same roles almost too, where it's like Magos is like very quick to like try and cover it up. Joseph is horrified, wants him to like work through it and be like, we'll figure out something. But then you have like family members, like Uncle Luke, who like goes in, even as a vegan, I hate this, but goes and gets him like a whole half of a cow or something. Like, I feel like the uncle character is not really in it as much until M's chapters, but like, man, does he really support that kid? Like, let me tell you, he wasn't trying to tell him like, hey, stop doing this. He truly tried to like compromise for a little bit, like, even though it's unrealistic. I feel like that for such a small character, that's like true love. Like, there for that character, like, I'm going to do this for you and compromise because I know that's what you need. Even though it's not at all convenient, and would be very hard for me to do regularly, I'm going to do this for you. And goes back to his natural self. He's going to eat all he wants. I don't think we would judge him for that. Well, I don't know. Some of the characters kind of do, though. It's almost like they were like living in a fantasy where, like, oh, he's normal now. He's normal. So he's not. We cut off the arm tail. That was the only thing that was making him wild, which is not true. It just is kind of like a representation for it. Okay, yes, that was nice of Uncle, but I'm getting naked and eating the cow. But I feel like that's part of his thing. He doesn't wear clothes. That's part of his true self, Uncle Luke is Uncle Luke is a trip. Uncle Luke is the best. Loved Uncle Luke. Yeah, I just thought that was such a nice moment. Such a nice moment. I feel like that's something that could be related to maybe like in the queer sense of things. Like, even if some of your family members are downright awful or not necessarily the best, it's like sometimes there's like those family members that surprise you that are like super supportive like that. And you're kind of just like, huh, okay, wow. Thank you. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. Again, and it's like kind of older characters too, which I appreciated because it very easily could have been like a bigot. Like, they could have just been bigots just because they're old. But I feel like that was the low-hanging fruit. Okay, well, I think we kind of I liked this. I kind of changed up the wording of the question just like a little bit. One of the questions in the reader guide talks about cannibal fiction, and as a bookseller, there is a lot of cannibal fiction out now, and that's been really popular on on TikTok, and a lot has been getting released. Would we categorize Monstrilio as cannibalism fiction? Is what he's doing cannibalism? And does anybody else notice the amount of cannibalism fiction? Or is it just me? What's that trend about? Ooh, this depends on if we consider Monstrilio as human. True, yeah, technically speaking, he does only have human DNA. I don't know. I think, like, technically speaking, he is. Like, if we want to get scientific here, but I guess we don't really know for sure. Oops. Mutilation of Monstrilio was horrific and unforgivable. Just not okay, and that needs to be said. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's why I brought up the, like, crypt theory thing that the book did, because they were trying to, like, make him look more normal, and it's barbaric the way that they do it too. Like, they treat him like an animal when they do it too. Don't think it counts as cannibalism. Okay. Heard imagine. Oh, I just, yeah, it's magical realism. Yeah. I think I said that. It's cannibalism in the same way zombies are cannibalism, I think. Oh, okay. Okay. I just thought that was interesting that it was mentioned, because I'm like, there is a lot of cannibal fiction out right now. There is a lot, actually. I was like, interesting. What is that saying about us as a society? I feel like when it comes to horror movies, I think and talk a lot about how the movies, like, reflect society and everything like that, because we live in a society. I don't think I've given the same, like, depth of thought to books and, like, trends, like noticing trends in genre fiction. Which I feel like, in a roundabout way, that question that just happened to be at the back of this book kind of, like, cracked that open for me. And I think I'm going to end up going more in depth. Interesting. I don't think you're wrong there. Like, I agree. I'd rather eat people than neighborhood pets. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, we all agree on something. It's boring if we all agree on everything all the time. Hey, and at 9:53 p.m. So we're pretty much kind of, like, at the end. That was, like, a super quick, like, we started going and I blinked and it was like 9:40. I was like, how the fuck? We are the world. I guess that's a good way. Maybe, is there anything else that wasn't mentioned that you guys want to talk about? What did you guys rate it? I think I gave it a 3.75. Definitely one of the more unique books I've read this year. That's for sure. I can say that. 3.75 for you also, Bree. Okay, so let's see what everyone else rated it. I gave it a 3.25 from Tana. Okay. See, this just goes to show that the numbers are arbitrary and it's all about the individual person. Because 3 stars, the way you were talking about it earlier, though, like, I was ready for you to say, like, a 1 star. So 3 out of 5? What's a 1 star look like for you? Like, it is truly, see, that's why I stopped talking about my number ratings, like, on movie reviews and stuff, because it's truly so individual, like, what a 3 means to me versus, yeah. I'm okay, I will only talk to Marielle in monotone so she doesn't think I'm yelling at her. I'm sorry for getting excited. I'm just curious about you because you're my friend. Is that better? I'm not yelling. You're telling me to not be my authentic self right now. I just want to be animated and excitable. Sorry. I won't do it again. 4.5. Cora gives it a 5. Okay. Nice. You can scroll back up to the the chat. Mariella doesn't have 1 stars because she DNFs before it gets that far. I know, but I mean, I guess, yeah, it's truly just so individual. That's just like wild to me. I just wanted to know like what a 1 star, book is to you, but I guess I'm not going to get the answer to that question because that means I'm yelling. So it just makes things more interesting. Because it just seemed like, or maybe you're only talking about the stuff you disliked in this discussion. Maybe that's it too. Because it seemed like you mostly did not have a good time. So I was just surprised because a 3 for me is not bad. Yeah, three stars for me is not bad at all. That's like okay. Like, this was an okay read. Like, I did not have a net bad time. So I was just surprised by how you were talking about it versus the number you gave it. Another news, I'm 200 pages into Twilight and having the time of my life. My hold is ready at the library, so I'm gonna go pick it up after work tomorrow, I think, if they're open. This is my local library moved buildings, like, they have a brand new building. I don't fully know the hours. I guess it's a good jump into, like, how we normally ended out. What else did you guys read this month? What else did you guys read? Any other good stuff? I do not have my original copies of Twilight, though. I gave those away so long ago. So I was like, I'm going to support my library. I'm going to. So glad I waited until my 40s to read Twilight. I am so scared to go back. I'm so scared to go back because I read those. God, I think I started reading them when I was like 15 or 16. And I'm 32 now. Like, I can't wait. 1 star reads. Okay. The Omen, The Secret History, Carrie, Normal People, The Honeys, Pinata, The Hacienda, White Horse. I'm gonna have to go back to our discussions on some of those, the book club ones. Because maybe I just don't remember, or maybe were you there for all those discussions? Because I feel like you were so much more animated in the in the chat this time about how much you dislike this one. I just don't recall you being even more animated in your hatred. I'm gonna go back and watch some of those book clubs so I can get a gauge. Like, okay, that's 1 star. I got it. Ocean's Gadori, The Night Guest, Dead Girls Walking, So Thirsty. I have So Thirsty on my TBR. for this month. I'm going to do a Rachel Harrison double feature with our October read, Black Sheep. Very excited. I really enjoyed Cackle by her, so I'm excited to dig into those. Try to get through Slewfoot, but I just couldn't do it. See, now that one, making a call back to earlier in the conversation, where I was like, I didn't really have any moments reading Monstrilio where I was like, oh, this is written by a man. Slewfoot, on the other hand, had so many moments where it's like there was like parts I wanted to enjoy, and then other parts it would just hit me like, this is written by a man. Yeah. So yeah, I don't blame you one bit. The ending is satisfying. Like if you just want to skip to the ending, maybe of Slewfoot. But other than that, it's eh. I read the erotic Shrek book. Yeah. It takes place in Florida, the land where all of the crazy shit happens. Oh my god. Well, it's got to be in a swamp, right? So I imagine this is taking place in the Everglades. Oh, it's not even like really like foresty down here though. Like Shrek lives in a forest. Interesting. I'll just read the last chapter. Yeah, just read like the last little bit where she gets like her revenge on everybody and it's glorious, and that's about it. Okay, but how was the erotic Shrek book? Like, was it good? Asking for a friend. My some of my coworkers and I read really stupid like erotica books because it's funny. And I think one of them has brought up the Shrek one before. So I might have to bring it back up. We read one about a sentient door once. We're reading one about Mothman for spooky season. Favorite book I read in September is T. Kingfisher's A Sorceress Comes to Call. Nice. Also love Men Have Called Her Crazy. I see that one at work all the time, and I'm just like, I kind of want to read it. Wait, what? What's happening? Bree, you are 17 and it doesn't matter how long you've been 17. Okay. Like I get the reference, but why are we talking about that? We should have done that as a group read. There are 3 of them. Oh, the new one. Okay. I forget what that one was called. Hey, Mindy. Yeah, we're talking about it what we were reading in September. I read children's books because I'm about to teach kids and I'm having a moment. I love reading picture books. We get some super cute ones. Kids today are lucky, let me tell you. They get the cutest, like creepy little picture books, and I love them. It wasn't bad. Nice. I loved Come Closer. Tastes like candy. Fantastic Land. I love Fantastic Land. Did you read it or listen to it? Because I recommend the audiobook for Fantastic Land all the time. Like the 2 narrators are incredible. They made it sound like a whole cast. Like it's so impressive. But I love that book. It's so good. It's not actually Shrek. Their name's like Rex and Leona. Oh, I am reading. It's so stupid. I came across it on TikTok. I'm reading one right now. It's only like 145 pages. It's called Stitched. Hold on, let me see if that's right. Stitched, and it's like technically a Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, but the names aren't even like, they didn't even try to make them like rhyme or anything, but I think it's called Stitches. I'm sorry, Stitches. Not Stitched, Stitches. But it's Nightmare Before Christmas. I actually took Vicky reading that out loud for me to get the reference. Oh yeah, how long have you been 17? Breeding with Bigfoot. Ew. Ew. Isn't it? The audio is so good. I hand sell that book at work a lot, but I'm always like I'd be remiss if I don't tell you that the audiobook is incredible. Listen to the audiobook of She Drives Me Crazy. Oh yeah, that's the one where it's like a like jock and cheerleader or something, right? The cover looks super cute. Please we can upload a blog or something. It's fine. I'm not that far into it. I'm only like about 100 pages or so, and it's just been like a whole lot of setup. Um, which is fine. I've read it, and Needful Things by Stephen King, like his bigger books. I know that the longer ones, he's going to take like the first third of the book to like set the scene in great detail. So I basically just have read a lot of scene setting so far. so not much like action wise has happened yet, but I can't wait to see your journey going through this, because I'm sure I don't know if I've told you this, but one of my coworkers is reading Stephen King in chronological order. She very slowly she gets slowed down by anthologies, by his like short story collections, but I think she's still trying to work her way through Skeleton Key, but Skeleton Crew. Sorry. Skeleton Crew. God. How am I the horror expert in my store if I don't even know that? A whole lot of setup. I know, it's crazy. It's so out of character. So out of character for that man. Doing one book a month. This is a month too, so quite a yo, for sure you do. Absolutely you do. Yeah, she's not doing it that structured. It's just like she's a big graphic novel girly. My coworker, she draws like she's an artsy person, so she reads a lot of like manga and graphic novels in between, and then she'll get to a Stephen King, and then that's quite a daunting task that I would not undertake. So, but I will live vicariously through my friends who are doing this journey. Oh, oops. Where'd I go? Okay, there we go. You're listening to it right now. Have fun. There's certain parts of that book where it's like when you become aware that you have like a man reading a part to you, and oh yeah. But I don't think I would have gotten through it without the audiobook. Like I needed that help to get through it. Like I would have DNF'd it, I think. This book, Carrie. Her name was actually Carrietta. What the fuck kind of name is that? Yeah, I feel like if the book was called Carrietta, it doesn't have like doesn't have the same ring to it, It's Carrie. Imagine if that was on the cover, Carrietta. I would read more Stephen King, but I'm too busy trying to scoop my eyes out. I just I feel like at this point I'm kind of just doing a bit. Like I'm just doing an extended bit. Kind of like Marielle does with the whole like everybody's against me bit that she likes to do. Uh love you. Uh where it's like I want to keep reading him, so it just because it just keeps proving my point about some of the commonalities in his work, and it's just kind of funny. It's just like at this point it's just a bit. I'm doing a bit. It's truly not a creepy book club meeting if we're not slandering Stephen King. Oh, you haven't gotten to the part. Yeah, that'll change you. I've never been the same since reading that part. That really was like the nail in the coffin for Stephen King for me. I was like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Like, I'm gonna do nothing but rip this man a new asshole every time I talk about him. Even if I kind of like the book, like even if I like parts of it, I'm still it's like yeah, I don't know how you come back from that scene. It was so unnecessary. And that could be a whole nother hour of me talking about that scene. And how much I hate it and how unnecessary it was. Look, I loved Salem's Lot as a vampire story, but now I can say I've read one Stephen King one is enough. Yeah. I'm just doing a bit at this point. And it's like sometimes you get so far into the bit that you can't stop. And I think that's where I am. The next Stephen King book will be The Man with Endless Assholes. I'm just waiting for him to get into his like James Patterson era. Like it's got to be coming soon. Like Stephen King is not a spring chicken. Like like I feel like his Jimmy Pats era is coming. Would be Stephen King's name really big on the book, and then underneath it, like very small, it's going to be the actual person who's writing it because he's just too old to do it now. And then he's going to do like the Stephen King presents like publishing thing. I can't wait. And that's where he's gonna do like a we're gonna uplift like marginalized voices thing with his Stephen King presents or whatever. Can't wait. I actually want Vicky to get me a nice edition of Pet Sematary. And I think if you can go 1 month without commenting on me buying something and sharing it on my Instagram, I will buy you Pet Sematary and you don't have to pay for it. Because every time I buy a book or buy anything and share it, Marielle is in my DMs being like, did we really need that? Did you really need that? So we're talking about buying things that we don't need and we just want. You're going to have to work for it. Just a little bit. Oh, you're doing Under the Dome? Girl. That's one I think I can safely say, like, there are just certain Stephen King books, like, I look at them and I'm like, I have no interest in reading these. And Under the Dome is one of them. Yeah, but that's different. That was different. This is Stephen King, and you get on me about Stephen King all the time. Because I'm doing my bit with the reading Stephen King. So because it's Stephen King, you got to work for it. Yeah. Under the Dome is a lot. Good luck. I look forward to hearing about your thoughts when you finish it in like 5 months. Or maybe you're gonna power through it and just like binge it. Either way, I'm impressed. Okay, I'll go ahead and end this here. We went a little bit over, but I feel like we needed the fun book chit chatty time because that was some heavy stuff we were talking about. Um, the read-alongs are all live on Storygraph. Next is Black Sheep for this month. And I decided to be an overachiever and I made all of the live events already for the rest of the year. So they're all linked on the book club page. Look at me go. Yeah, I mean, I blinked and another 15 minutes went by and we were just talking shit about Stephen King. It's great. Audio is the way to go. Good for you. That was the smart decision. Smart decision. Yeah, so you can see all the other books we're reading. Our November pick is out, I think, in like a couple of days. So that should be available for anybody to buy. That was like one of our new ones we're reading. And then we're back to Katrina Ward at the end of the year. I can't fucking wait. Oh, and that's where we'll end it. Perfect way to end this stream. I'm making that my bio on like everything. Stephen King is to book as Eli Roth is to movies. Perfect. All right. Thank you for another good discussion, another amazing discussion on this. Can't wait to talk about Black Sheep with you guys in like a month's time. Bye. Good night.